Hello, we're going to do the plane launcher today, and this is how it works. Two rotating discs rotating against each other, and there we go. Okay. Now, this is this is a piece of acrylic which you will have bent from your working class already. Just to let you know, the motor is very hard to put in. We've got instructions here which explain that you need to put the red dots of the motor at opposing sides closest to the edge. So this is a fairly little job. You might need a little bit of help in class doing this, but when you get them in, make sure that it's positioned so that the red dots, it is really stiff. It's meant to be stiff because we don't want them to come loose, obviously, and that's going to sit in there nicely like so. So our two red dots are on the outside, they're away from each other. Okay. Our instruction sheet, you must read them as well as looking at the diagram because it really does help you. And I've got a battery box here which I've already cut and stripped the red wire. We've cut that about halfway, perhaps a little bit more than halfway, so we've got enough reach. But we take off these sticky fixer pads. Remember to apply these away from the switch because obviously we need to get to the switch, so they've got to go on the bottom of it. And then we place it, if I just show you here, right in the centre there like that. Give it a good firm tug. They're really, really strong, these fixer pads. They'll hold it really well. Now, as I said, I can get to my on-off button fine. So, I've got my red and black wire. Red is positive, obviously. And what I've done is stripped that already, cut it and stripped it. But I'm twisting the wires, like it says on your sheet, so that you can position it. Let me just do it this way around so you can see. Through the little terminal hole. That's called a terminal. The one with the red dot, through there, and to it. Now, that's the bit that I cut off before, and I use these wire strippers to strip the ends of this, and I just twist those around as well, okay? And as it says on the sheet, I position them exactly the same way. You've got to be sort of careful with this. You've got to try and thread two wires through one terminal hole at one go, but the great thing about that is when you solder it, you do both joints at one go. Now, it might look like we should have the red wire on this side connected to the red dot, but no, the reason for that is we want the motors turning in opposite directions, not the same directions. What I've just done, if you're confused, watch carefully, if you need to get back a little bit maybe, we basically use these side cutters to cut the black wire there. I know that's long enough to reach because I've checked it already. And then get my wire strippers, and there's several designs. We've got these ones, and we've got these ones. They're all a bit, they're okay wire strippers, but they can be problematic. They're a bit of a nuisance. Again, give it a go, see how you get on. Ask for help in class. You put the wire through that way, as I said. You'll see that in a minute again. I'm going to place this wire through that terminal hole, exactly like it says on the sheet. Okay? The bit of wire that I cut off should be long enough to go between there and there, and it is, which is great. So I'm going to get the wire cutters again, and look how it works. I put them through the top, so make sure these are fully open first, then put it in. Oh, that didn't work, so this is quite a good example really of how you can get problems with wire strippers. They are a bit of a pain. There we go, that works. These ones operate in a similar way, but they're not the most expensive sort, and we've always had a few difficulties with wire strippers. It's just something we've got to live with. But we're all about problem solving in technology, so it's not a big bad thing, right? Right, so I thread that one through there. I'm bending them over, as you might have seen, just so that they sort of hook in and don't come out all the time. And I keep twisting these wires because I don't want any strands not to go through the hole. So let's see if I can get that one through. Oh, it's tough this. I need to have good eyesight for this. Oh, that one's come out there, so I do need to bend that around a bit more. I don't know if you can see that, but I might even do this with a pair of pliers and just poke them around. So really like that. That is exactly what's on the sheet. Now I've just gone through sort of points 1 to 10 there, and now I need to solder it, okay? So, I get my soldering iron. If we can pull out, we can have a look at this soldering iron. We'd only ever put the soldering iron on when it's in the stand. Like, it's got to be in the stand, never lying on a work surface or something. We always tin the soldering iron, okay, to get, you'll see a bit of smoke coming off. That's just the flux burning off, which is a compound in the solder which helps it flow. And now we're going to actually solder it together. So, what I do for this, I'll start with this one. I don't want to burn this bit, so I've got to be careful. I'm going to place that there, get some heat in, leave it there about 5-10 seconds. There we go, that's melted beautifully. Same thing, tin it again, pop that on there, try not to burn the plastic wire. Don't have it on there too long, so what happens? Well, there we go. I'm going to pull that back because the plastic was burning there. We don't want it too long because if you melt them too much, what will happen is the plastic on the back of the motors itself will start melting. So I tin the soldering iron, place the connection on, push it in there, that's perfect, that one. And then we've got this complicated one here because we've got two of them to do at once. So I tin it again, place the soldering iron there. This is a little bit more difficult to melt, this one, but it is working, I think. We'll be able to find out in the second one we switch it on. Now, if we pull it out again, we'll be able to see, I'll switch this on. Yeah, they're both turning. Yeah, they're both turning opposite each other. I could quite easily put one of these discs on, I think. I'll try and if I can get them off. Right, so I'm just going to put these discs on. Rock band's popped off one of these. I'm just grabbing them off the other pre-made paper plane launcher. I'll get that off. And we need to see them rotating away from each other, which, I don't know. Oh, it's only stopped. There we go. It's now working. I have a dodgy joint here, okay? I've got a joint which has come out. And this is quite interesting. This can happen, and it does happen, and you've just seen it happen. So I need to solder it on really well. That wasn't connected properly. Okay, now if you've got a good partner in class, you will be really well off, because I haven't right here. I've considered using these strange little sort of steady hand holders, they call them, to hold the joint, the soldering joints in place, the wires in place with the terminals. So this is going to be difficult, this one. So I'm going to have to tin this and very quickly hold the wire in place and then solder it on and hope that joins up, because there we go, we did have a slightly dodgy connection there. Okay, now let's try that again. There we go, they're both rotating. You can probably hear them opposite each other, and all I've got to do then is get my rubber band, double it over and put them on, and that is not an easy job. Right, if we pan back out again, that is a very hard job to say, but that is how you solder it together, and when you come into class it should be a lot easier if you've had a look at this little video clip. Okay, so good luck when you do yours, and like I said, read every instruction on the sheet and work and safely. Okay, thank you.